Many of us feel like we are constantly pouring out, and also like there is not much pouring back into us. Yes, there are many needs around us, emails to answer, decisions to be made, and conversations that need to be tended. And somewhere along the way, you start to feel worn thin. Well, hi there. I'm Jem Fadling, and this is the Unhurried Living podcast where we inspire you to rest deeper, live fuller, and lead better. Today, we're talking about being reservoir type people, a person who knows how to fill up without the detrimental pattern of pouring out the last drop from an ever emptying cup. If you're listening to this podcast, I'd love for you to follow us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. It's all free and it helps Unhurried Living be discovered by more people. Thanks so much. Now, here at Unhurried Living, we like to think of every person as a leader, not just those with titles or platforms, but every person is a person of influence. But what enriches that influence? What gives it depth and staying power? Some of you might know that Alan grew up going to a man-made lake near Sacramento. It had once been a river flowing through a valley, but after a dam was built, it became a reservoir capable of holding 300 billion gallons of water. That reservoir now blesses the entire surrounding community. That image has stayed with us because leadership at its best looks like being a reservoir. And Bernard of Clairvaux, a 12th century French abbot, said something about this that I return to often. Here's what he wrote. The one who is wise will see his life as more like a reservoir than a canal. The canal simultaneously pours out what it receives. The reservoir retains the water till it is filled, then discharges the overflow without loss to itself. Today, there are many in the church who act like canals. The reservoirs are far too rare. You too must learn to await this fullness before pouring out your gifts. Do not try to be more generous than God. Now, that last line stops me every time. Do not try to be more generous than God. Let's unpack that. Now, in the canal life, a canal pours out as fast as it receives. It has no depth, no holding capacity. It lives in constant motion. And if we're honest, much of modern leadership rewards canal behavior, always available, responding, always producing. It's easy to confuse busyness with fruitfulness. But the thing about canals is that they can eventually run dry. And what happens when a leader runs dry? Resentment, fatigue might creep in, and joy all but disappears. It becomes possible to keep serving, but not from abounding love. It might come from emptiness. Now, this is not a healthy vision or application of spiritual leadership, and it's not the model of Jesus. Luke 5 tells us, the news about him, Jesus, spread all the more. Crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Now notice the contrast. Crowds demand and needs increased. But Jesus often withdrew. Right in the middle of the busyness, Jesus paused to retreat and to pray. These were likely the times where he heard from the Father. John 5:19 and 20 says this, Jesus gave them this answer. Very truly, I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. Now, Jesus had a fuller plate than you and I will ever have, and yet he didn't live reactively. His hidden moments with the Father were not optional for Jesus. They were essential to his life and ministry, and those were his reservoir times. In those spaces, he listened to the loving voice of the Father. He rested in the loving presence of the Father. He remembered who he was. Jesus didn't minister out of pressure. He ministered out of overflow, and we can learn to do the same. So how do we follow Jesus in this reservoir dynamic? Well, first, we can believe that filling precedes pouring. You can't sustainably give what you haven't received. Second, we can trust the time with God is not indulgent. It is necessary and formative. When you step away to pray, to sit quietly, to receive love from the Father, you're not abandoning your responsibilities. You're actually strengthening them. Reservoir leadership, yes, sure. It is slower because it waits for fullness. It doesn't rush generosity ahead of grace. And it understands that influence rooted in love is far more powerful than influence rooted in urgency. So again, what does a reservoir do? Well, it stores abundance. It holds water long enough for depth to form. It allows the sediment to settle. It releases the overflow without loss to itself. That phrase is so important, without loss to itself. Imagine blessing others without becoming depleted, serving without bitterness, or leading without exhaustion. This doesn't mean we never get tired. Of course we get tired. It just means that we're not chronically empty. A reservoir leader receives, holds, and treasures what God is pouring in. Any number of spiritual practices and life-giving engagements can help fill you. Think into that which makes you feel alive, joyful, rested, or present, and get those things on your calendar. Well, let me help you out even a little bit more here. I'm going to give you 3 ideas for action steps. You can always come up with your own, but here's some ideas. If you want to move from canal living to reservoir leadership, here are some ideas. Number 1, schedule refilling time before you desperately need it. Remember, it says Jesus often withdrew, not occasionally. Put time with God on your calendar before crisis forces it there. Even 20 minutes of intentionality and quiet can begin to deepen your reservoir. Number 2, receive before you respond. And let's make it super practical. How about this? Before answering an email or going into a meeting or making a decision, just pause. Remember, God is with you right here and right now, and then enter into that next moment in a spirit of grace received. This shifts you from reactive canal to attentive reservoir. And then 3, measure fullness and not just output. At the end of the day, you can ask yourself, how was I filled today? How did I receive love? How did I operate from overflow? Let fullness become part of your leadership assessment. We use all types of quantitative data points to show whether the day was a success. But what if we shifted to a more qualitative measure? Grace, love, and overflow. You are a person of influence, but influence without depth is fragile. As Bernard of Clairvaux so eloquently shared, the world does not need more canals. It needs reservoirs, men and women who are quietly filled with the love of God, people who await fullness before pouring out, people who are not trying to be more generous than God. What if your leadership this year was marked not by increased output, but by increased love and depth? You may discover that the overflow blesses far more people than frantic effort ever could. Blessings to you as you make your way. Thank you for joining me on the Unhurried Living podcast. You can download free resources and learn more about us at unhurriedliving.com. And please subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. We'd also like to thank our partner, Life Audio. Check out their other faith-centered podcasts at lifeaudio.com. Blessings to you as you make your way.